the details in general principle. Ein bechlal ela masha befrat. There's nothing in the general principle that is not in that are not in the details. The same thing is also in this inyan, which derech hagav. This inyan that everything, there's nothing in the klal which is not in the prat, there's nothing in the prat which is not in the klal, also explains the inyan that took place by Moshe Rabbeinu. The Gemara says in Menachos, Moshe Rabbeinu was giving Rabbi Akiva was giving a shiur. And Moshe Rabbeinu was not on the front bench, was on a later bench. And Mitamol, he hears chidushim, new things of Torah that he was pashat surprised, he never heard it. And he felt very down, like he doesn't know about these things. But at the end, Rabbi Akiva ends, halacha l'meisha mesina. Everything's halacha meisha mesina. So the Rebbe asked the question, l'cheirem manefshach. If it's from Meisha, how does Meisha not know it? If it is not from Meisha, how does Rabbi Akiva say it's from Meisha? Which actually the Marsha asked the same question. It seems like the Rebbe answers also, but there is that actually Moshe Rabbeinu handed down, in addition to Inyanim of Torah that he gave in his time, he also handed down the 13 tools that the halachas are developed with. Yud Gimel Midrash HaTorah Nedreshes Behem. B'meila. Then came the Rabbonim and the Sanhedrin and the Meshach HaDeiros, the Nevi'im. There were different takonos that came later. Shlomo HaMelech made Erev, and then there was Netilas Yadayim, and then there was Isser on Shemen. Nehemiah made Isser on Shemen. Different halachas. Takonos of Yeshua. There were 10 takonos when they went into Eretz Yisrael, as the Gemara says in Bava Kama. B'meila, there were many different Inyanim that were added later. So B'meila Rabbi Akiva was Machadish his inyan, Tilei Tilim Shel Halachas. On every case, on every crown of a letter, he spoke Tilei Tilim of Halachas, Riboy Halachas. B'meila, he derived it from Midrash HaTorah Nedreshes. Moshe Rabbeinu did not recognize it because he didn't see it as a developed halacha. He just gave them the tools how to develop halachas. So B'meila, he says halacha Moshe Messina because the Yud Gimel Midas were passed down from Moshe. On the other hand, they were chidushim that Rabbi Akiva developed himself.
I heard this one quote a little bit different.
Yeah.
I told you that when Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting and he said, "Where is this coming from? This chidushim?" And when he said halacha Moshe Messina, he said Nachadaita. He said because then he knew that it comes from, I think, Chachma, which is Bitul. Then he was Nachadaita. Because they say this chidushim can't take.
So then he felt he says that he couldn't believe that he was the one that had a taste. So Meila, if he heard it was through Marus, it's in Yav Chachma. This is a Chsidish Avart.
I heard it from Sean Jacobson.
No, that's a Shingikuma from, this is a
Vart. I think he said that it comes from the Rebbe.
That's very unusual, because usually the answer that the Rebbe gave was the one I mentioned. It could be that on an occasion the Rebbe mentioned it also. I don't remember ever seeing it. Interessant. It says that Kol ma shetalmid vosik osi l'chadesh, that everything that a Talmud will be mechadesh is something. In other words, everything that he will develop is something kvarnema l'meisha mesinai. Was said already l'meisha mesinai. Was said by Meisha. So there was somebody once that came and he said a chidush for a certain Godel B'Yisrael, and the Godel B'Yisrael said, this is such a chidush that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know about that either. Which means he was saying it in a negative light. Such a chidush that it never went through Moshe Rabbeinu. This is like you made it up here on the spot. This is basically what it is. Or it was once another occasion that there was somebody once came for a haskama. He came for a haskama for a consent for one of his svarim. So the one that wrote the haskama, the amlotza, the consent, wrote, he was supposed to write a complimentary statement. So he wrote, he says, Hechzer HaTorah liyeshna. He returned the crown back to its original status. The person walked out, so proud, and was very uplifted. He came to show it to people. He realized later the people told him exactly what it meant, what that Rav had in mind. Hechzer HaTorah liyeshna means he took paper and he wrote things which are worthless. And he says he made a shmata out of the paper. So Hechzer HaTorah, he recycled the paper. The paper is going back to where it came from. In other words, what he did with the paper wasn't worth to be written on. And therefore what he did was he was just Hechzer HaTorah, he just recycled it again. That's all he did with his writing. Okay, so then the Rebbe continues. V'aderaso b'inyan zeh, the inyan kachena b'mitzvaysecha v'sin chalkena b'tzirasecha yeshne b'avedas adam b'chol yem. That the kachena b'mitzvaysecha is in the aveda of a person every day. The tchilas aveda kol yem he bekama v'kama mitzvahs. Every day, in a microscopic way, every day a person sees, first is mitzvaysecha. He has mitzvahs, he has brochas, he's saying, netilas yadayim, under yonam. V'rak la'achar zeh boyim l'limad ha'teira be'agdomas birchas ha'teira. And after that, he comes to limad ha'teira be'agdomas birchas ha'teira with the introduction of teira. Hargoshas nesan ha'teira b'teira. He feels, he senses, when he learns teira, that it's not just a subject, that he is the one that's going to add, he is the one that's going to explain. And as others feel that they know better than Rashi or better than Tosfos, and B'meila they put corrections into the commentary like they understand better, it's woe to them because they have no idea who Rashi was or who Tosfos was. The word is that it's Nesan HaTeira, a person needs to know that it's the Eibishter's Teira. And B'meila, when he learns Teira, it's the Almighty's Teira, and he's learning it in a way with fear, which this is the way, as the Talmud tells us in Brachas, when a person learns Teira, is it like the giving of the Teira. Ma laholan be'ema be'yira b'resas b'zeya, the same way that they learn Teira then with fear, the same way it should be now. V'sein chalkeina b'seirasecha. So the Rebbe says, therefore, this is another reflection, how first comes mitzvahs and then Teira. Then the Rebbe says, Omnam b'chlalus yeser, in more generally looking at it, from the perspective, umishtakev, it reflects, inyan zeh b'yomim yechodim shebishana. It is also reflected in the calendar setting of the year. V'heim hayomim sheben Pesach l'Shvuos. These are the days between Pesach and Shavuos. Shebetchila hi aveda the Yetzias Mitzrayim b'Kiddushin. There was the initial marriage between the Jewish nation and Hashem, between Hashem and the Jewish nation. Almighty and the Jewish nation, Kiddushin. V'achakach hi aveda the Matan Teira inyan anisuyan. Then came the marriage and what followed, which began by Matan Teira, when Yidden became one thing with Teira. That the Jewish nation is considered a closed garden, which is, as Hashem refers to the Jewish nation, my sister, my sibling, the bride. And Gal Nol, again referring to the same idea. First, there was the union of Kachena b'mitzvah shazeh winyan gan nol she'egdis pischei and chulo. First, there was the stage of mitzvahs. Aval acharei aveda zu de gan nol, after the union of closed garden, that the kala is designated for the chosn and for no one else. That's why it is closed in a modest way. Boy machakach avedas nailas yeser. So then we reach higher avedas. Especially when this is done within the spirit of the directive of the Baal Yemeled, is the one that said this Hasidic discourse, who is the fourth Rebbe of Chabad, the Eifim that he said, Lechatchila, his directive is that everything that a person takes upon himself in inyanim of goodness and sacred matters should be Lechatchila Riber. He should always start in the beginning and aim for the highest point, not going from stage to stage, but actually aiming for the highest point. So then their elevation from strength to strength is also in a way of L'chatchila Riber, that L'chatchila aims to the highest. So then comes the complete unity and connection between the relationship between the Jewish nation and the Almighty. B'chinas Gal Nol, which the word Gal, Hashayich like Beimer, can move on Mehemshech HaMaimorim. The word Gal is the word Lamed Gimel, 33, which is the name of like Beimer, which like Beimer, the 33rd of the Eimer, was the revelation of Rav Shimon ben Yochai, who elevated then, his soul elevated into heaven, and that also shows on a special, that day shows on a special revelation in the sphere of that day, Hoyt Shebahoyt, which is a very special revelation relating to the service of ultimate nullification to Hashem. What does Gal Nol mean? In a person in the service to the Creator, this relates to the Aveda, the service of the inner part of the heart. Reusa de liba. This is the point in the heart which is connected with the core of the soul of a person. And as the Mittel Rebbe says in the Maimer, that the pnimius halev, the inner, the core of a